Hello everyone. Today we are going to find the slope from 2 points using the slope formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Just a reminder, every time that we used y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, usually that means that we do not have a graph, a coordinate grid in front of you, and you have 2 points that you have to find the slope of. So here we go. In the first one, the first thing that you do is 19 negative 16. Remember, this is x1, this is y1. Negative 7 is the second x you see. So you put x2, and negative 15 is the second y you see. So you put negative 15. The slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember, you set up the formula just like this with the minus signs in the middle. This is negative 15 because that's y2 minus from the slope formula. And then negative 16 is y1. y2 minus y1. You see a double negative. This is minus a negative. Just go ahead and make them positives. That's keep, change, change. Just make them positives. The calculator will do it if you don't, but just if you see a minus and negative, just get it in your head that you should change it to a positive. So x2 is negative 7, and then x1 is 19. So when you have any fraction like this, just grab your calculator, do negative 15 alpha x, right? Alpha x is negative 15. So on the top of your fraction, you have negative 15 plus 16. And you're going to go down and do negative 7 minus 19. Remember, put this all in the calculator, and then you press enter, and it gives you negative 1 over 26. And just remember, negative 1 over 26 really is a negative fraction. This is a negative slope. A negative 15 plus 16 would be equal to 1. And this is right here, negative 26. So it doesn't matter where you put the negative. It just matters that one, either numerator or denominator, is negative to make it a negative slope. Or you could put it just like this. I don't know what that looks like there. Or you could put it m equals a negative out in front of the fraction, 1 over 26. As long as it's a negative fraction, that'll be good. All right, again, remember, you put x1, y1, x2, y2, and then you have y2, which is negative 7, y1, which is negative 19, and again, double negative immediately. I'm just going to make them a plus, and then negative 2 minus 1. Just remember, put it directly into the calculator. Negative 7 plus 19, negative 2 minus 1. You get m equals negative 4. All right, number 3, again, x1, y1, x2, y2. And then you're going to set up the formula, putting the fraction together and the two negatives. You have negative 4 minus 7. That is not a double negative right in a row, but negative 6 x2 minus a negative 4 is minus a negative 4 becomes a double. It's a double negative and it becomes a plus. And when you put that into the calculator, you get 11 over 2 or 5.5. Just remember, any fraction can be converted into a decimal just by division, because all fractions are division. So we're just going to put or m equals 11 over 2. All right. And then m equals we're going to set up our fraction with the two minus signs. This is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. So we're just going to go to y2, which is 16 minus 8, and then 9 minus 20 for x2 minus x1. And there is your answer for that one. You just put this directly in. You remember, you press alpha x and you get to this fraction. You just make the calculator do all of the work. It's negative 8 over 11, and that is your answer. Remember, you set up your formula and then you label x1, y1, x2, y2. And you get 8 minus a negative 13. That's y2 minus y1. And then you double, the double negative becomes a positive. 17, x2 minus 17. So right now I know that it is 21 over 0. And basically what that means, I know that when 0 is in the bottom part of your fraction as your denominator, you can't divide by 0. There's no way for you to find out how many times 0 goes into any number. So this slope is undefined. It is undefined because the 0 is the run. It's supposed to be the run, so it doesn't run. So when you put this into the calculator, you will see divide by 0 error. As soon as you see that divide by 0 error, that means that it is a vertical line. All right. So vertical lines have the undefined slope. The line will look like this if it was graphed. If you took these points and graphed them on a coordinate grid, the line would be vertical. Vertical lines have an undefined slope. And I just wanted to show you here's what the calculator would say if you put the fraction in. If you get any denominator of 0 in your calculator and press enter, it'll say error, divide by 0. And then it gives you a little explanation. Attempted calculation contains division by 0. The calculation failed. All right, because the calculator can't do it either. It's an undefined slope. And here we go with number 6. We're going to set up our fraction just like this with the two minus signs from the formula. This is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. And when we put the y2 in, that's 3 minus 3. I already know I have 0 in the top part as the numerator now. And then x2 minus x1. I don't really need a calculator for this, but if you did put it in the calculator, it would be 0. And that's the way it would be. I'm just going to put down 0 over 1. The calculator probably won't show you that, but the calculator will go directly to 0. Remember, a 0 slope means that you have a horizontal line. Horizontal, okay. Horizontal line has a slope of 0. All right, because it has no rise. It just has a run. So you get 0 over some number, and then you could do that in math. It'll just say 0, the calculator. Okay, for number 7, again, we're going to just set up the formula with the two minus signs from that formula, and then label x1, y1, x2, y2. And then so you have negative 15 minus 0 and negative 11 minus 3. You grab your calculator, put these numbers directly in, and press enter. And once you put that into the calculator, you get 15 over 14. That is a positive slope. 15 over 14. So you let the calculator do the work for you, and that's about it. You don't have to change it into a decimal. Just leave it as a fraction, and that would be your answer. All right, so again, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. and we are going to put m equals, and we're going to just put this minus signs in so we don't make any mistakes. The y2 is 10. The y1 is -2. You see that double negative? Make it a plus. X2 is -11 minus the 19. Grab your calculator, put this directly in, let the calculator do the work for you. And after you let the calculator do the work for you, put 10 plus 2 on the top, you press alpha x. The alpha is right here, the x is right here, and you get -2/5. You can put that any way that you want. You can put it like this, -2/5. Or you could put it like this, 2/-5. Or you could put it -2/5 with the negative hanging out in front of the calculator, in front of the fraction, and that's it. They all mean the same thing. It's a negative slope. The line's going down from left to right. For number 9, we have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we are going to set up our slope formula with the minus signs, and then we're going to make sure that we label just like this. This is -20 minus 5, -10 minus 5. Grab your calculator, put all of that in, and then press enter and let the calculator do that work for you. All right, and then it's 5/3, and there it is in the calculator right there. -20 minus 5 over -10 minus 5, 5/3, and it reduces it for you, gets rid of like whatever it doesn't get rid of, but it calculates the correct sign, and there is just no error that you could make unless you substitute the numbers in to the calculator incorrectly. So please use that calculator every step of the way. Don't take it for granted that you know what it's going to come out to be. Calculator is there for you. So y2 is -15, and this is 0, and then x2 is -11, and this is 3. And again, we'll put that directly into the calculator and see what we get. And number 10 was the same as number 7. All right, so 15/14 is your answer. Just remember, use that calculator. All right, here are some challenge questions. There's a lot of different ways that you could possibly do this, but whenever I see a point, right, it says if the point 2, 5 is on the line. They're giving you information here that you have to read. All right, and the slope, they're giving you the slope. Determine the next point to the right on the line. So that means to the right, right? Use the slope formula to check your point, that your point is correct, and the given point, you have to use that slope formula to check that your point and the given point have the given slope. All right, so let's just see what you do. Right, so first off, if you put it into m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, you're really not gonna like be able to do anything with that because there's no other point. Like you have to have at least 3 parts to substitute it into the formula and then maybe make a proportion out of it and crisscross with the multiplication. So I'm going to do this a different way. I'm just going to go ahead and sketch. And I like sketching. All right. The reason why I like sketching is because it makes things a little bit easier for me. This is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. If you know how to graph, you know that 2, 5 would be from 0, 0. 2, 5 would be 2 over and 5 up. And that would be my 2, 5. All right. It's a rough graph. If you have graph paper, it would be even better. But the slope of that is a half. So the rise is 1. So that means it's positive, it's going up. and the run is 2. So if it rises 1, all right, so this is 2, and this is 5. Right? If it rises 1, it's going to rise to, obviously, 6. If it rises 1 and then runs 2, it'll be here. So, runs 2, that's 4. So, it'll be 4, 6. Do you see? That's the next point to the right. You're using the slope formula. The slope formula of rise over run, that's 2, 5, and then it rises 1 up to 6 on the y, and then the run is 2. That means it goes to 4. And it's pretty easy. You could just keep on going. Rise 1, run 2. You can get another point. Rise 1, run 2. So 4, 6 would be my other point. So I'm going to just go and do what the question is asking, and the question is asking me to check it using the slope formula. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So this is my x1, y1, x2, y2, and then I'm going to go and put the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And let's see if it comes out to a half. Now, if it doesn't come out to a half, that means I messed up. So y2 is 6, y1 is 5, x2 is 4, and x1 is 2. That is 1 over 2. It is definitely correct. I'm going to put a check mark there. Challenge question. Pretty easy. Sketch it. All right. So here we go with the next question. I would do this a little bit differently. All right. So just think about the information they give you. They give you 1 point and they give you half of the other point, which is now making this a little bit, changed. It says algebraically determine. So that means you really can't do what I just did. All right. Up in this first one. Because you notice it didn't say algebraically in the first one, but it did say to use the slope formula to check it. So I'm just going to go ahead and label x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, so we have m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So then I'm just going to put m equals, and then I'm just going to put those numbers in. So the y2 is going to stay y2 because I don't have a y2. That's the one that's missing. So this is 2, and then x2 minus x1. So that's plus 4. I'm just going to substitute the m that they gave me, and I'm just going to put half in as m. And I'm just going to put y minus 2. And I know it's y2. I'm just going to put the y, though. All right, and then 2 plus 4 is 6. Now, this is a proportion. So you could just go ahead and crisscross, cross multiply. Right? And that's the reason why we were showing you cross multiplication. This is 2 times the entire expression y minus 2. So it's 2 times y minus 2 equals 6. 6 times 1 is 6. So I'm just going to do distributive property. 2y minus 4 equals 6. And then you add 4 to both sides. You're adding 4 to both sides. And we're almost finished. Cancel out the 4's, 2y comes down, equals 10, and then you divide by 2, and y is 5. And that is solving algebraically, right? Determining the point of the y, of the determinant state, the value of y, algebraically, you just did it, all right? Remember, when you have 2 fractions that are separated by an equal sign, that is a proportion. You could cross multiply. Right? Use that crisscross method that your teachers taught you about. All right. Thank you for watching. And I hope that helped a lot. See you next time.